test plan, we have test cases that we execute test cases, and now we come down to analyze them. What was successful, what is not successful, what failed, what are the reasons, and what will happen. So in this segment you will see what is the actual measurements that you get. So for example, you're running a performance test and you're expecting the response time to be 3 seconds for every page, and you're getting 4 seconds, which means it does not meet the expected, so it failed. So what do we need to do now? That's all done in the analysis part. Also, you will notice that when you identify defects, those defects have to be prioritized. Let's say there are 500 defects, and these cannot be fixed. So they cannot be fixed because you have a limitation of time, right? So what do you do in that case? You prioritize the defects with the development team and business, and what can be done, what cannot be done. Based on that, you will decide what will be fixed and rolled out in the next build, which is what is happening here. So you fix the defects. When you fix the defects, a new build has to be delivered to QA environment, right? That's the only time you will have to get into regression. You will validate everything that happens in terms of the application functionality, right? Yeah, go ahead.
When do you do regression?
When
would someone do regression? After every build?
Let's understand what is regression. Regression is to go over the previous successfully executed test cases so that they still function the way they were last time. So a new build gets delivered to you, that's where you get involved in regression.
So every time when I get a new build, when they fix some bugs, let's say they have some issues, the new build is all fixed by the developers and I get a new build. As a tester, manually I will go and check whether that particular bug for which whatever I said is the defect and they fix it. I'll just make sure, yes, it's just a pass. Manually I will do that manually, and then I will do a complete regression testing, making sure the changes they made does not affect any previously existing functionality.
Previously certified functionality.
Or past
Yeah.
So that is what regression. So
that's the regression.
And does this usually automated?
Well, it depends. It can be everything is manual, it can be everything is automated. You could have your regression suite, which is automated, right? Your test cases that you want to use for regression can be manual, can be automated. It could be both.
It could be both?
Yes.
Because I'm assuming, let us say if you have an application with 500 checkboxes or whatever, you're like, I'm going to do it manually and it's going to confuse me.
Well, it is all dependent on the pain points, right? Pain points. How much time does it take? Is that time worth it to get automation? You may have, let's try and understand this. To automate an application, you take 10 days. 10 days, one resource is equal to 80 hours. Right? Your manual testing for that can be done in 1 hour. I'm giving you a hypothetical example. Right? So if 1 hour manual testing versus 80 hours for building automation, is it worth it? Let's look at the other side. You have test cases that will take you 3 resources for 1 week. That makes it 120 hours. If your automation takes 120 hours, the cost to recover your automation will have to be multiple cycles. You cannot have one cycle you automate and you start getting benefit of that. No. Because one cycle will be the cost itself of execution. When you run that execution which you have automated multiple times, that's where your benefit will come in. So 120 manual hours can be completed through an automation script in 15 hours. Right? That's a more realistic example, right? But to build that 15 hours of execution script, you need 120 hours of work. So how long will it take for you to recover those 120 hours that you've invested? 15 times 8. If you use that automation script 8 times, that's when you will recover the cost of your automation. But time that you will spend from 120, it will become 15 hours, 1/8. That means per cycle, what is the benefit that you have? Roughly 105 hours. 105 hours in terms of money, it's a lot of money. Even if you're talking about $50 an hour on average, for 100 hours saving, per cycle you're saving $5,000. And if you have 6 cycles or 7 cycles, you've saved almost $40,000, $35,000, $40,000. Right? So you need to choose your poison. Where do you want to rank? You want to be automation heavy shop? You want to be a manual shop? How complicated is the automation? Those aspects you'll have to define what you want to do. And we'll cover that when we go into the automation. So we executed, we analyzed, we fixed the defects. Now we have the new build. Now the build is retested, your regression, and then it is released. So once it is released, what happens? The application is live in production. The external users can access the application, and there could be beta testing, or it could be a full application launch. What is beta testing?
I think beta testing is just QA guys who sit along with the users and the test the front and the other test is the user themselves tester.
When Google Chrome was launched, they did not say that this is our final version. They said this is a beta version. So who was testing? We as users were participating in their testing. So beta testing is targeted towards actual users with a caveat that this is not the final product. We are still in testing mode and development mode. So you help us understand the problems that you face, and we will try to incorporate. Right? Similarly, Microsoft comes up with a beta version of the upgrade for the operating system. When XP moved to Vista, they said Vista Beta. They didn't say this is Vista Commercial. Right? So that's what is beta testing. So beta testing is done. The solution that you're building gets certified and becomes active production after beta bugs are closed. So this is pretty much what you have as the lifespan of the software development lifecycle and the QA testing cycle. In this QA testing cycle, we looked at a lot of aspects of quality assurance that we will be working with throughout the program. This is the big picture, the 30,000 feet. Now we'll start going down. And we'll start picking up unit by unit as to what we want to do in this exercise of the program. Any questions here? Anyone?
Beta testing is applicable only for kind of websites and not for applications. Right? Applications we call it UAT, and beta testing is not possible in that case, or is it possible?
Okay, let's try to understand your question. So Praveena's question is, what is beta testing in applications, and what is UAT, and why is it used?
UAT I understand, but
Okay.
is beta testing, I mean, can we use
Same
it
as UAT?
Can we use it for applications? For
Now
websites I do agree, but
when you're talking about beta testing, you're talking about end user actually working on the system. UAT is user acceptance testing. That could be user which is not the end user. That's a possibility. Because you would have business users executing UAT. Business owner, the business team is reviewing the application before it becomes available to the outside world for anything. So UAT is more controlled. Beta is more open-ended.
okay.
Now for the application that you mentioned, I'm assuming the application that you are thinking about is not a web-based solution.
No.
So it's a client-server solution.
Yes.
So client-server solution is a local intranet or LAN-based system, right? So that cannot be thrown out for beta testing, right? Beta testing is done by actual users of the system. For example, Microsoft came out with a Vista beta version. Google Chrome came out with it. Then there are some other applications like Netflix and some shareware. Well, they came out with beta versions. Right?
So they're all like web-based web applications. That's what I
Right. Beta testing can be done for client server as well. But what will happen in that client server? You'll have to provide the install to your end client. That's it. For example, you're building a solution, and the solution is to automate doctor's office. Right? So what will happen now? You want some doctor office environment to test it. So what you would do is you will give them a copy of your system, ask them to use it, and tell your feedback. Right? So that's also beta testing of an application which is client server based. Right? That's another example. Dental office, insurance agents, real estate agents, so on and so forth. Right? UAT is also similar, but UAT is
UAT is they don't go into the production database, so they use UAT database, right?
they go into test database. They don't go into the live active system.
So the beta testing is go into live database. Because what happens is
See, the profile of the audience that you have who's working on your application is different. The system itself is different. Make sense? Okay. Now, I think we are almost at a point where we can take a lunch break.
Could you tell me the difference between beta testing and UAT, user acceptance testing?
Okay. So who's going to take a stab at it? Pravina, you want to go?
you can do that. And then there's UAT.
You could please say your name first.
Yeah. And my understanding is, I mean, that's how it was in my company where I work. We had Regression, development database, and UAT database. So I guess in the UAT
Thing is user acceptance testing, where the actual user of the system is stepped through and held by a business analyst who is looking. Yes, so you would provide the steps that need to be executed so that the UAT tester or the user who's providing the acceptance is able to cover what they need to cover. And this is not done on live data. This is done on test system. Whereas beta testing is done on live system. So it will be released to end users, actual users, like UAT, but the environments are slightly different. That's it. So does that help you? Hello?
Yes, I mean, it helped me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alright, so now